What is up, gamers? It's your boy Bebo with a capital B here, bringing you my top 5 games of 2022. Now, before we get too crazy, let me just say, disclaimer, this is a long video, and I'm gonna try to do it in one take, which means that there are gonna be times where I go kind of off topic, gonna be times where I stutter a lot and have difficulty talking a little bit, so just bear with me here. Don't have to watch if you don't want to. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Coming in at an honorable mention, we have Cyberpunk 2077. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 is a great game, not gonna lie. Um, it does so many things very, very well. In fact, I honestly think that it's probably the best. It's in the best game of its genre, which is like it's interactive sim, right? It is the best game of that genre. It does everything that, say, like Deus Ex does, but just like better. Um, and I will say the only game that gives it a run for its money is Prey, which is also a fantastic game and is good in a lot of the same ways that that Cyberpunk is good as well. Okay, but my big problem with Cyberpunk 2077, and this is going to be a little, not I would say a big theme this year, but it's going to come back. So one of the biggest problems of 2077 was what I like to call the Cyberpunk effect. Okay, I'm naming it after this game because this game, it is so crazy how good the first like 5 hours of this game are. Right, first 5 hours are, or the first 5 hours is whatever. Um, it's it's so good. It's so smooth. It's got great pacing. It's so immersive, right? For an immersive sim, that's kind of an important aspect. However, after that initial period of time, it doesn't have to be exactly 5 hours, but it's just like that initial part of the game, the quality the quality deteriorates so much. And it's still a good game even after the quality deteriorates, but it misses the magic that is present in the first 5 hours. And just to give you a quick example of what I mean by this, I have a video pulled up. I have a couple examples actually. So again, it's going to be a longer video, so we're in for the long haul here. And the video I pulled up is when you first meet the Ripper Doc Victor, where they install like the forgot what they're called, but like the technology implants into your body. So we're just gonna watch this video real quick, a little bit, and I'm just gonna talk you through. Look, it sits you down, right? It's your first time doing this. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? You talk to this dude. You're in this like dirty basement garage of this like random city building, right? You see this dude who looks pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, but just this random guy who you don't really know him that well. Anyways, you go through this whole thing. You go through this whole thing. He tells you like what he's gonna give you. You get introduced to the menu here now. Cyberware, that's what it's called. Sorry, Cyberware menu where you can install different things. And then after you pick what you want, okay, again, let's just click on through here. He talks to you a little bit more. Puts your arm into this machine, which I mean, it gets like pretty invasive. It's pretty crazy. That's why it's so. In my mind, it's so immersive because it's just like it just shows how, you know, like I can feel it on my hand. Anyways, and then it gets even worse when he puts the thing in your eye. Here, just fast forward to that part. Like, it just sinks it right into your eyeball. There. Okay, gross. Anyways, I love it. It's great. This is a fantastic like scene setting gameplay moment. Not really a gameplay, but just like a video of what's happening, right? However, every other time after when you visit the Ripper Doc, all it is just the menu that pops up, and you get it to click, which upgrades you want, and that's all. That's all there is to it. To this whole like, nothing in this little, I'm gonna call it cinematic, whatever, in this little gaming cinematic scene is related at all to anything else that happens in the rest of the game. You know what I mean? It never calls back to this moment. It never reiterates on this moment. it feels like the first time you go to do this thing, you get all this extra, what's the word, exposition, and then anytime afterwards it's not there anymore. What I would have liked to see, because it would have been a lot to have this long cinematic thing for every single time you want to go in and get an upgrade, but what I would have liked to see is a unique animation for like all the different aspects or all the different parts where you can get an upgrade. So like there we just saw like your hand and your eye. Hopefully this loads. Let's see if it does. Oh, here we go. Right, so you can see like you saw you got upgrades to your hands and to your ocular system, right? Your eyes. Would have been cool if we had something like that for, just to show how it all links up. Anyways, okay, so that is the first clip of the cyberpunk effect. The next clip of the cyberpunk effect is, in my opinion, even a little bit more egregious. Okay, this is also in the first mission of the game. Your goal is to go into these apartment buildings and like save this woman. And now I went in and I found, you're welcome, but a censored version because it's uncensored in the game. Anyways, so you get this woman, and then you call like 911, but it's not 911, it's like private 911, right? It's like the emergency trauma team, right? You call the trauma team, that's what it is. And you walk outside, and I don't know what's up with the graphics here, but they're like shouting orders at you. They come out, as you see, with guns, and they're very intimidating, right? You're like, oh snap, I want to do what these people are telling me to do so I don't get shot. So I'll just let the scene play out real quick.
5 steps back. Now.
Oh snap.
TT-133 to control.
Look, the dude's just still pointing the guns at you. You're like, oh snap, dude. All right, it's a tense situation, right? You can feel it. You can feel how tense it is. Like these dudes are in a hurry. You're trying not to get killed, and also somewhat in a hurry, and then they just take off. You're like, oh crap, that was sick, right? Like that was a cool thing that just happened with that whole thing happening, and it gets like mentioned that like she has like the girl that you're saving has like the gold package or whatever, where it's like advanced response time, so these dudes get here quicker. And the whole time I'm thinking like, oh sweet, the trauma team, what a cool aspect of the world they introduced. Am I going to be able to like, order a trauma team for myself? Is that how they're going to do like the revive system in this game? Am I going to have to, have the trauma team come in and like fight me off somebody they're trying to save, or just something. There's a million different ways you could do it. Could I purchase different packages of the trauma team once I could make more money? Nope. As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I could tell, rather. And for the record, I didn't beat all of this game, so I beat probably like 75% of it. But that includes almost all of the side missions and stuff. I never saw the trauma team again, not once in my entire gameplay loop or gameplay thing, which stinks. It's a bummer because I really like the trauma team. I like what I like the possibilities introduced here. But again, cyberpunk effect, I'm telling you. Okay. On to the actual gameplay of Cyberpunk. The gameplay is very good. I'm not gonna lie. Right here, I got another little tab here. The gameplay is very good. We're just gonna kind of watch, by the way, some videos of, might be gameplay trailers. It might be literally like a cinematic. I try to, have the background video related to what I'm talking about, but I'm just kind of going through here. Not a big deal. So the gameplay of this was good. However, the biggest problem I have with it is that it got too easy too quick. And this is on my first playthrough where I don't really know what's going on. I'm just gonna kind of show you an example here of what I'm talking about. Let me see 1 second. Okay, maybe I won't. That's fine. The problem with the gameplay, how it got too easy, was that stealth in this game, and every stealth game is inherently like busted. I don't know, they have to make enemies like stupid in order for stealth to work, right? I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna find it right now. Cyberpunk. I have to show you because once you see it in action, it's like so clear what the problem is. People are just like, how do you not hear the dude? How do you not see the one shot, one kill? Okay, cool. You could hear this dude running, right? Boom. This dude doesn't hear that. You just see what I'm talking about? Like, they're so stupid. Their cones of vision are so small. They forget way too quickly. All stealth games are like this, and Cyberpunk's the same way. I could essentially full clear a hideout without being seen by anybody. You know, if you just play like a little bit safe. And then once I got like tired of that, I just started like running in and just shooting people just because I wanted to have some fun and like challenge myself. And I started putting my points into the assault rifles. And then I got to the point where even that was too easy, where I was literally, it was just like a cover-based shooter. Here, I'll let this play. Sorry. Oh no, I think I accidentally. Here, I'll play this one. Anyways, it just turned into like a cover shooter where I just hide behind one wall and just like laser people in the head with my assault rifle slash submachine gun, whichever one had more ammo at the time. Anyways, I'm sure it could be fun with the proper balancing and all that, and maybe I just optimize the fun out of the game, which is something we're going to talk about later as well, but it's possible. You know, maybe different builds are more fun too, and with a certain mindset, it could have been a lot more fun. Maybe I ruined it for myself, which is fair. Okay, but that was the honorable mention. Number 5 is, and this is going to be a surprise to, I think, some people, it is Melver. Melver Idol. Now, this game came out of nowhere for me, because it's an idle game, right? So it's like Cookie Clicker, and it's very much like RuneScape. In fact, it's essentially like a RuneScape clone. So if you know anything about RuneScape, all of that knowledge is going to transfer to Melver Idol almost certainly. And that's what's so amazing for me personally. But even without that, this is hands down the best idle game ever created. And I have tried dozens and dozens and dozens of idle games. Even this year, which is why I'm so surprised it took me so long to find this game. I think the reason why is because the name Melver Idol is just so stupid. Like, you read it, I don't read that and go, oh, I'm interested in that. I don't know what or who Melver is. That's not a RuneScape thing, right? Throne of the Herald sounds cooler, but that's the expansion, and I never really heard that. But Melver Idol, it's like, what? Anyway, so I probably read that name a bunch throughout like the past year or two since this game's been out, and just wasn't just scrolled right past it. But I shouldn't have, because it's a great game. The reason it's so great and the reason it's so much better than all the other idle games, because whereas all the other idle games might have like a few systems, excuse me, it's very late, where you have like a few systems that are like interactable, you know, and help increase your progress. Melver has 24 systems that are all interconnected in different ways, in different amounts, right? And so in order to do one thing, you have to do like six other things if you want to do that thing efficiently. It's just like RuneScape. It's such a good game for people who like to set goals and then achieve them in games in particular. That's what RuneScape's so good at, right? I mean, you have like early game goals. Oh, I'm gonna level up my base stats to 40 or whatever, or I'm gonna go, you know, get Barrow's gloves, and then but in order to get Barrow's gloves, you have to do all these quests. In order to do all these quests, you gotta get these skills up. In order to get these skills proficiently, you gotta go do this, right? In order to do this, you gotta go level up that. It's like a whole line of stuff that you gotta do, and then eventually it all comes together, right? All these different branches of of accomplishment all come to form in this one pinnacle moment where you achieve your barrels gloves. That's in RuneScape. In this game, it's the exact same thing, where you achieve your 99 skill cape or your 120 skill cape, right? Where you get into the new slay area, so you can kill the monster, and then get the new weapon, which lets you go to the new place. It's just continually going and going and going, and it's fun to plan your own route through this as you just kind of, there's no way you can look up a guide to get you through all of this all the way, because everybody does it. Excuse me. Everybody does it a different way, and there's no real correct way either. I will say, with that being said, there is, if you are looking to get into this game, there is a quick start guide that will get you through like the first maybe week or two of playing this game, depending on how efficient you are. And it is so worth it, because it really does. It doesn't even have to kind of explain what each skill is used for. It just does it with or it explains it by doing. So you learn what while doing, which is in my experience the best way. Number one, for a game to be designed to teach a player to do something, and number two, maybe there was no number two. Maybe it's just the number one. That's okay. So, anyways, Melver, great game. Great game for like setting goals. Great game for long-term advancement. I've been playing this game for like 3-4 months maybe now, probably closer to 3, and I'm very far away from maxing. There's a lot more to do. There's always going to be more to do. And the next expansion, which the first expansion was great, I loved it. It added so much content, right? The next expansion is already in development and should be out relatively soon. So yeah, top 5 game of the year, Melver Idle. Thank you, Melver. Number four is kind of, in a boring way, old school RuneScape, the game that Melver is based off of. RuneScape this year, I've had better years with RuneScape. RuneScape is really a game you gotta be in the mindset to play, because if you're not in the mindset to play RuneScape, you're gonna hate it. And that's fine, not every game has to be one that you constantly play continually over and over and over again. This is a game that you play for the long term. Constant progress, year after year. And so this video I have right here is just it's a quick. I'm gonna back it up a little bit, but it's the last 2 phases of the final boss of the of the newest raid that they released in this last year, right? So I'm just gonna let the video play. Why is RuneScape? Why is it, as I said, not the best year for RuneScape for me? Well, particularly it's because this new raid. It's a little bit of a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie. It had a strong start because people weren't limit testing at the very start. They were just kind of going through and experiencing it. But as you kind of start to test and push the limits of this raid, you learn that it's lacking. It's lacking a lot where other raids weren't. This raid it's based on an invocation, like the difficulty is based on an invocation scale, and or like an invocation level. Sorry. So you can see in the top left it says raid level 300. In order to get that raid level 300, he had to turn on certain rules that would make the game more difficult, right? These rules would change the mechanics of the boss, or they would, add mechanics, or they would add monsters in different places, which changes the way you play things, and it's great. It's fantastic. However, as the raid level increases, so do just like the base numbers of the mobs, right? Just like your typical way of increasing difficulty, just by increasing the numbers. As you increase and then higher numbers, the enemies have more health, they attack more accurately, they attack more strongly, so they do more damage as well. And the problem with that in this raid that's not present in the other raids is that in this raid there was a lot of unavoidable damage, meaning you are on a timer. You're going to be taking, a certain amount of damage every minute, and so you have to have enough food to excuse me, but you only have so much food, which means you're limited by how long you can be in these raids for. Which means, this is the bad part, which means that the higher difficulties were limited by how good your gear was, not by how good your skill level is, right? Usually, good gear would make things faster, make things easier. Here, good gear made it possible, which is the frustrating aspect of it, because there is no high skill level, high skill level, intense APM strat to no damage, even like this boss. The first phase of this boss has a bunch of unavoidable damage, where if you don't have good enough gear, you're just at a huge disadvantage then, right? I mean, it just lowers the overall limit. And it stung, and it stinks. Because I would have loved to like put a lot of time and get good at it, and then, possibly be rewarded with like a big drop or whatever whatever is going to be in this dungeon. But I felt limited, not by my skill, but by my gear. Anyways. Additionally to that, the beginning of the year was when I played the most, and I was pretty much just doing the same thing over and over. It was like a 100-hour grind. Oh, it was awful. It wasn't awful, but I wouldn't want to do it again. But I did get to listen to quite a few audiobooks during that time, and honestly, it was pretty fun. All things considered, now that I think about it. In the moment, it was like a little bit ugh, but after you do it, you learn to appreciate, the achievement or whatever. Okay, so that was number 4. Moving on to number 3. This might surprise some of you. All right, so maybe make sure you're seated for this one. But it's actually Elden Ring, which I think many people thought was going to be my number 1 game of the year. However, it sits at number 3, and that's okay. Here I just have some gameplay of Elden Ring, because Elden Ring, while definitely the best game released in the last year, was not the game that I enjoyed the most in the last year. I mean, it is a great game though. Look at it. Like, these animations, everything about this game is fantastic. It is the best game ever created in my opinion. It's just the size of it, the quality of all the animations, all the weapons, the armors, the spells, the scenery. Oh, it just looks like it's such a good game. The bosses are amazing, and they scratch that Dark Souls itch so well. However, it still does have its issues. This game is too long. It is too big. I give them credit for creating the largest scale game I've ever seen. But they got a little big for their britches here, I think. For example, this boss right here, excuse me, is reused twice. 2 times. This one boss. And so you think, oh, well, that's just one boss. No, I'm telling you, I bet you half their bosses, or I bet you like 80% of the bosses are reused at least once, and some of the bosses are reused like 4 or 5 times. For example, I think somebody said it before, but it stuck in my head. It's like the first time you fight a fire-breathing dragon on horseback, across this wide open swamp. It's amazing. It's fantastic. You get this. You're like, oh my gosh, this fight's incredible. It's so exhilarating. You dragon swooping in, all this stuff. By the 4th time or the 5th time, you're fighting that same dragon with the same animations, just different colored breath. It's getting a little old. Getting a little old. And that is the problem with this game. The repetitive bosses, the repeated bosses, not only do they cheapen the experience for that boss fight right there, where it could have been something else, but they also cheapen the previous boss fights that you did, because it's not unique. You know what I mean? That crazy cool boss from, that you beat, that it took a long time. It's not like, even the devs don't think that like that was good enough for a one-time shot. It's like you got to do it again now. The same thing over again. I don't know. It kind of just ruins the end of the game. It drags on too long. Excuse me. And it would be fine if it didn't reuse bosses. However, this game's just too big. There's no way any dev team is ever going to be able to fill it with a unique amount of bosses. Normal Souls-like games have like 20 bosses or something like that, right? This game has like 80 or 100 even. I don't know. It's got a lot though. I don't know the exact number. But it's fantastic. It is, if you're looking to play a game for 100 hours or 120 hours, this is the game to do it on. The best single playthrough game I've ever played in my life. I think this game gets a lot worse on subsequent playthroughs, unless you're going for like a challenge run or something. But the first playthrough, I would just say don't look anything up, or maybe look like a tiny fraction of stuff up. But look up as little as possible and just go through blind, just explore. Oh my gosh, what an experience. It's amazing. Okay, so that is number 3. Elden Ring, you're fantastic. Next, what is number 2? Oh boy. Number 2. Drum roll, please. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft. I know what you're thinking. How boring. And I know it is boring. However, I mean, hey man, Dragonflight, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Ours is a cycle of hatred.
And I'm just gonna turn this down. I just have some cinematics playing because they're amazing. Okay. WoW, it continues to deliver. You know, I have so much fun with this game. I had so much fun in the Mythic season of like season 4, also of the previous expansion. That was a great time. I had fun. I think it was 2 years ago, unfortunately, but in Shadowlands season 1, I mean, I didn't love that expansion, but anyways, back to Dragonflight. Dragonflight killed it. Brings the fun back to WoW. If I wanted to, if I found it fun, or you know, if I want to in the future, knowing that I'm going to be able to like level an alt and play a different character without losing months and months and months of progress, I'll pretty much be able to catch up rather rapidly, as quick as I can do the content, right? Such a good feeling. It makes me want to play more because it's like I'm not playing, or if I stop playing, I lose the investment that I'm putting in, right? Because you feel like you're falling behind. Not having that feeling makes me want to play more because I'm not afraid to lose it. If you get my point. I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit because we gotta hear a little bit. So anyway, I love it. It's a great time. I wouldn't say it's a great time to get into WoW because it's never been more difficult. There are so many buttons to press, so many different key bindings. I don't know how anybody plays without an MMO mouse. I have 12 extra buttons, although I will say it's probably too many. If you don't have 9 extra buttons on your mouse, in my opinion, you're gonna have a bad time. Or you're gonna have a fine time, but you're just probably gonna be a little limited in what you can do. Oh, look at this. Cinematic sweet. Anyways, not a great time to get into it, but if you are already into it, so good. So good. I don't know where they go from Dragonflight with the flying. Are they gonna, you know, get dragon flying for all the mounts, all the different animations? There's no way, right? But how do you go back to regular flying? Oh my gosh. Maybe create a whole expansion where there's no more flying. They're like, nope, no more. We gotta give you an expansion break before we go back to normal flying, so you forget about how good Dragonfly flying is. That's what I think they're gonna do, because there's no way, right? There's no way they animate all the other mounts to do like that level of, you know, diving, swooping, twirling, whatever it is. Maybe they don't even all have those abilities, but even just like the up, you know, the jumping up and then the diving. Ugh. What are they gonna do? Maybe next expansion. I'm worried about that. And like with the talents, there's usually some sort of like class updating but they pretty much just gave you everything. You know what I mean? Oh, this part's cool too. They pretty much just gave you everything in Dragonflight. I said, here, go nuts, have all the abilities you used to have before, and then some, and have them in different combinations. Go crazy, right? And it's amazing. But you can only do that once. You can't give us back them again. So I'm just curious to see how they're gonna go forward with it. I'm sure they'll do something right. But yeah. Anyways, WoW number 2. Starting to ramble a little bit. And number 1. It is. One second. It is actually. Here we go. There's actually a quick. Another honorable mention. This game I just bought like 2 or 3 days ago, but I'm having so much fun on it already. And I technically bought it, in 2023, but whatever. It's before I made this video, so here we are. It's Trombone Champ, $15 on Steam. Oh my gosh, it's like Guitar Hero, right? I'm gonna see if hopefully this has some gameplay that I can play. Here we go. It's like Guitar Hero, but honestly not quite as good. But it's kind of a funny game as well. If you like rhythm games, I recommend giving this a check when this came out. As you can see, you use your mouse to control the little thing, and then you click or press a button during it. And it gets pretty crazy. It can go to some, if you go to some more difficult songs. Here we go. And I think it's a newer game too, so I'm sure it's going to be getting updates. There already is one paid DLC, $3 for more songs, but I haven't really looked into that too much. I'm probably going to get it though, not going to lie. $3. Oh my god. Okay. Honk, blow, and toot your way through over 20 songs in the world's first trombone-based music game. Trombone Champ. So, Trombone Champ, honorable mention. But, for my actual best game of the year, it is League of Legends. League of Legends does it again. It does it again. How does this game, how is it still good? How are we still playing it till, I played it till like 2 a.m. this morning with my friends. Still, I don't get it. Every game hits just like the first. It's crazy how they can just take one gameplay loop for about 30 minutes and just feed it to you over and over and over again. And you thank them for it. Like, think about how much, like the previous game I was talking about, World of Warcraft, has to iterate and like redefine itself over the years. Oh my goodness, this is a cool cinematic. Compared to League of Legends, which, oh god. Anyways, it's crazy. League has barely changed, I feel like. But it's still fun. I do miss the old game. There's been some talk about, like the gameplay, I guess you could say, like theories that go into like League game now versus League game, like the design theories, right? That go into League now versus League like 5, 6, or even 10 years ago. And it is different, I agree. However, the newer game is unequivocally better. I'm not gonna lie. It's just more consistent. It's more balanced. It's less roller coastery, right? I bet, like, when you think of old League, you probably remember like the good games, the really good games where they were close, or maybe you got really far ahead. But I bet you, like, the bad aspects of old League were so bad too. Oh my gosh, it had so many issues that the new game doesn't have. And the modern game design that the new League has really does just give you a more consistent, positive gameplay experience. All those changes that they have made add up, and that's what it comes down to. Still a good game. Can't believe. Excuse me again, I'm yawning. Can't believe they're still coming out with new champs. That's crazy. How do they still have new ideas for champs? I couldn't think of one, even like 50 champions ago. There's still every, 4 or 5, or even like 6 a year. I don't know exactly how many, but it's a lot. Plus the reworks and everything. That's okay. Let's talk about that for a little bit. This game, because of how it's like constantly changing a little bit at a time, like with balances and stuff, you do have to relearn everything over and over and over again. So as someone who's played like 10 years, I can't use the knowledge and experience I earned and learned 10 years ago now, right? Whereas, say if I was playing like chess or any other different type of game that hasn't, changed this much, I would be able to use that, which does feel kind of bad, right? But to be fair, that's probably the reason why we're still playing it to this day, is because there's still new stuff to learn all the time, and you feel like you can constantly get better and better, because again, it's changing. Ooh, alrighty. Well, that's it. We got through it. I don't know exactly how long this video is, but I bet it's pretty long. If you're still here, thank you for sticking with me, sticking through it. I'm gonna end it. I don't think I have anything else to say. So, what are your top 5 games of the year? Leave those in a comment below, or don't do that. You can just tell me, like, because if you're watching this video, I probably know you personally. So, you can just tell me. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'm gonna wait till this Cinemax order just for brevity's sake. Wow. Rakan's the best, that's all I'm going to say. Atlas, do you want to be in the video? We're just going to watch the cinematic and we're going to be done. Hopefully this video doesn't get copyrighted because of all this. I'm using other people's footage. Wow, they did it. They saved the day. I don't know exactly what they did, but good for them. Okay. Anyways. Have a good day, y'all. Thanks for watching.